Hello, I'm Alex Wood, and I am part of Phantom Media's University of Derby Student Union election campaign coverage. That is a mouthful to say. And today I am joined by this gentleman right now.
Hi guys, I'm Elliot Horne. I'm running for student presidency. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting my point across and for everyone to go onto the Union of Students website and read all the really good manifestos that have been put out this year.
Brilliant stuff. Yeah, I've interviewed literally every campaign, and no one has plugged that so far. So, well done, Elliot. Thanks for that, mate.
That's all right, no worries.
Saves me a job in the prelude at the end of the video. That's exactly what we want.
It's all right. I think I might have stolen a bit of your script there.
It's absolutely fine. Don't worry. The less I have to talk, the more you talk, and makes us all look better for everybody. What drew you to the particular role?
So when I first came to university, straight away I realised that the union of students really got the students involved. And as I started in my foundation year, I realised that I had ample opportunity to work my way through the union students and figure out everything that the union students actually provide for the students. And to be a part of that is just an amazing thing, to be honest. I've been in management in the past, but to be able to be part of a community like that would look absolutely amazing on my CV, and the amount of personal experience I'd get from it would just be phenomenal.
So let's go through the imagination of this, and you're crowned president, and we pop the champagne, we celebrate an election night, and everything is all great. What's the primary aim if you were to succeed?
If I was to succeed, obviously the manifesto would cover the points of what I would do in terms of my actual role. But in addition to what is on my manifesto, it would also be encouraging students to better themselves and use the Union of Students as a way to reflect the student voice and actually be able to have that progression like I have through the years of university, to be able to build yourself up to actually be part of the students' body.
Brilliant. What is your particular perception of the Union of Students right now?
At the moment, I think they've done an amazing job through the COVID pandemic, and just showing that even when you take away the in-person interactive tools that we have, we've still been able to thrive as a community and still be able to stay in touch with each other, whether it's through societies or sports or through other aspects of the advice team or the mental health community, all sticking by each other. It just shows the strengths of the students sticking by each other and being able to bounce each other ideas off of each other, and also be able to just create a new support network for even the newest students coming in, and still making them feel like even though they've come away from a school where they've got all their friends, they can make friends and make connections through the different activities and the extracurricular activities, more importantly, with the Union of Students.
Is there anything that you would change?
I would probably, well, it's it's easy for me to say. I would probably try to do some more inclusive events, regardless of whether it's through the activities team or the welfare team, or even the education team. But it's easy for me to say that, but we're in a pandemic at the moment, so the newest members of the student body this year won't have seen how good the Union of Students is. If I was to change anything, it would probably be making sure that the resources for the education side is there when needed, rather than trying to race another student to the resources. For example, in my manifesto, it will say about making sure that there is a prioritized booking. So the individual rooms within the library or certain resources are there at your disposal when it comes to exam time or certain assignments coming out. So Just slight little alterations. The Union of Students works very effectively at the moment. However, with slight little alterations, it'll flourish.
Brilliant. And now we're just going to switch it up a little bit, because they were kind of, what kind of candidate are you? These next
Okay.
ones are going to be a little bit job interviewee. So
Okay.
apologies about that, because
That's
some
fine.
people find them awful and some people really flourish in them. So you specifically, how do you solve problems in a professional setting?
In a professional setting, first off you identify the issue, then you take a step back, you look at all the different aspects of the issue, see whether there are any easy solutions, so you can carry on with productivity. And if there's not, then you go away, you do a little bit of research into, obviously we are all about, and I will be that president that is solid on reflecting the student voice. Go do a bit of research and make sure that you've got the actual ideas of the students from all demographic and diverse backgrounds, and make sure that you're reflecting how they would want to see the issue resolved in the future, with all the facts and figures.
Brilliant. And then on a completely different narrative from problems and problem solving,
Okay.
obviously the imagination that you'll be elected president, as soon as that happens, your face is everywhere. Everyone
Yep.
knows who you are. It's slapped on every poster possible. Every press release, there's that weird headshot with your hair a specific way, so you definitely can't change it. And then even if you're lucky, you get a full body shot within the front of the university with your other 4 VPs that's definitely not Photoshop. You get all of them as well. So
Yeah.
my question at the end of that is, how would you deal with that? How would you deal with the publicity that comes with that? Because everybody knows who the union president is.
Okay. Well, first off, I would make sure I never have a bad hair day. I always get the right side of me, which is, of course, the right-hand side, the right side. But no, with the publicity, I think it goes hand in hand with, yes, okay, you come across as everyone knows you and this, that, the other. But at the same time, you've got to remember the Union of Students is about being led by the students. I am a student currently. Yes, I'll take a gap year to fulfill this position. However, I will still be in the mindset of making sure that the students are represented in the best light. So people, I would hope, would always support the fact that I am still in the, although I'm coming from management and a leadership position, I will still be holding the ideals of the students and understanding, more important, the hardships that the students have to go through, whether it would be financial, their living accommodation, the pressures of exams, or even just studies in general, making sure that that's reflected through the way that I implement myself within the role.
Brilliant.
I apologise for any background noise. I'm on a bit of a busy
It's,
street at the moment, but
no,
yeah, sorry about
it's exquisite. Don't worry. We all love the sound of ambulances every day. It's perfection. Don't really worry. We'll swap into the kind of meat and potatoes of this interview then, because you mentioned COVID-19 there, and it has been a forefront of everybody's life this year.
that.
It has affected every single student. There's no denying about that. It has affected everybody, and everybody has felt some effects of it somewhere. So it has left a lot of obviously students concerned about their student experience dampening, and a lot of students criticizing the actual university itself for their response to the COVID-19. What do you think the Union of Students should do in response to students being critical, not only of their experience, but the university itself?
I think it's quite unfair how much pressure and how much has had to change in such a small amount of time. Don't get me wrong, I think the union have done a very good job in terms of dealing with the pandemic. Bear in mind, it was dropped on our laps, and so many people that have got so much life experience have had to deal with something that's unprecedented. So to resolve the issue of students having an issue with how they've implemented themselves, I'd probably put it down to making sure that once we get back on our feet, that they really do thrive in terms of the student experience, whether that's events, whether that's more resources. And again, it's in my manifesto. It's a lot to do with, after we come out of this, let me start again, I do apologize. Once we come out of the COVID restrictions, a lot of people's mental welfare is going to be either degraded, shaky. People will have slight issues with trying to get back into in-person interactions. But that's why we've got even more need to have that support system in place for the Union of Students. We had no control as a union to control how the pandemic went on. All universities will have the same issue. Whereas the Union of Students for Derby, the amount of support that is there, you can go onto the website and all of the contact details. And I believe that the Union of Students this year even had a hotline where you could call up if you had any issues. And the support is constantly there. I think the only issue would have been is making sure that that advice or that support is recognized and is easy accessed, which it is. However, you need to know where to go for it. So this year we had a lot of emails updating us about COVID or how to deal with COVID. But I think the only thing that could have helped was making sure that there was a email that pushed through the mass emails and just said, we understand that everyone is struggling. This is what we are doing. And this is how you can access that help. This is how you access those resources.
So coming off what you've just said there, is that what you think the role of president would have done it to support what you've just said there, to support the union, send out that massive email and say, and be clear and have that clarity?
To have the clarity of this is what we are doing in response to the COVID pandemic, and this is how we get to certain aspects. Talking about what we do and then having the link at the bottom and having 10 of those emails within a week or so, I would probably say that it would be nice and clear to say this is a list of all the different aspects that we are helping with certain situations, and this is how you access it.
Brilliant. And us at Phantom this year, we've kind of called this year the virtual year, because
the virtual
it has. It's been it's been virtual, hasn't it? Yeah,
it has. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's clever wordplay. We're ingenious. That's all I can say. But there have still been many things to learn from this year. Like I've learned brand new things. You've learned brand new things this year, and there are many, many different lessons we can take into that next year. So for you, in a personal and a professional sense, what will you take into next year following this year being all virtual?
So from a personal point of view, being able to access resources and knowing the ins and outs of not just the union website, which I've mentioned twice already. I apologize for that, guys. But also the university website and accessing the resources through the library, cite them right, etc. Being able to utilize those with having, let's call it a virtual library, and still being able to hit my standard grade within university would be absolutely brilliant. And knowing that you need to be a little bit more prepared within your studies, because I understand that a lot of the exams have been online this year. And of course, because it's online, it means that it's an open book exam for all exams. So because there's no way of tracing it. It's also made me realize how important it is to have the FaceTime with the tutors and making sure that the studies are written, because it's made me realize how much easier an exam is when you have the information in front of you. Now, if you put that extra bit of study in, you will have that knowledge at your fingertips in your memory recall, etc. And then you'll be able to fly through your exam, because exams seem so much easier when you've got that knowledge right in front of you. That's from a personal point of view. From a professional point of view, the virtual year. So I'm currently a president of a society, and I'm the union society chair. Alex, am I allowed to speak about that?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, fantastic. So just double checking. So as president of the society and the union society chair, the amount of tools virtually that we have learned, because we have been forced to learn them to keep our interaction and engagement going, is so important. And it's made the societies and sports realize that we can still have that engagement online. And it's opened up the ideas and the potential to be able to have more involvement, more of a collective support system online, as well as not just waiting for that one day a week when you meet up with whatever society you're a part of. And those tools for committee members, it's priceless, because it just means that you can have a constant presence online and making sure that that society is working well together, and all students don't feel alone 6 days of the week, if that makes sense. So being able to use the virtual tools and implement them, even when we're back into usual interactions, in-person interactions, if we keep the virtual things, you imagine how much you used the word flourish earlier. I understand that last year, Phantom went paperless as part of the green movement, and absolutely amazing. And then straight away, we've gone into a COVID pandemic. It's almost like you guys predicted it. And you've been able to do everything virtually, and you took the first step. And yeah, everything is paperless now. It's part of the, it's great for the green movement, and it's a very sustainable way of working. Yeah,
brilliant. Thank you very much, Elliot. Thanks for your time.